Hello and welcome to White Lion News, keeping you in touch with what's happening at the pub. As you know, Rob has recently taken over as manager, and I'll be talking to him to find out a bit about him and what his plans are for the pub. We'll have a report from Ricky on the pub's football team and their recent cup win. We'll take a look at one of Eddie Brown's recent open mic nights. I'll be providing some gardening tips for this time of year and talking to Chef Nigel Brown about his new job. All that's to come in White Lion News. Rob, a bit of a belated welcome to the White Lion.
Thank you.
I guess you've been in post for as manager now for what, about 6 weeks?
Yeah, it'll be 6 weeks on Monday.
Oh, right. And what are your impressions so far?
I really like it. It's a nice local pub. It's got a bit of a bite to it, unlike some of the other pubs around here. So it's really good. I love it.
Well, it's no secret that you were the victim of an attack in your first week here. How has that affected your views on the pub?
Not at all, really. I think it's an isolated incident. Obviously, I've got that from the review, when everyone came back to me saying, I'm really sorry it happened. It's not like anyone in here. It's not like Jim. But it hasn't made me think any worse of the pub.
Rob, tell us a bit about yourself and your background and so on.
I've been working in pubs for about 5 years now. Came from the White Bear in Broxbourne, which is another one of Bell and Buck's pubs. I was the assistant manager there for 2 years. Haven't always been in pubs though. Have had experience in banking, sales, insurance and also travel. But really enjoying the pub stuff now. So
good. Well, you've certainly made your mark in the short time that you've been here. People have commented, for instance, on the various posters you've put up. What other ideas have you got up your sleeve?
It's basically just continuing with that sort of thing. Having the quiz night, having the open mic night on alternate weeks seems to be working well at the moment. However, I know in the football season we're going to have to change the quiz night now. We won't be able to have that on a Thursday because Spurs will be playing in the Europa Cup. So what we'll be doing is hopefully building the quiz night on a Tuesday, and hopefully then we'll be able to do it on a weekly basis as well, rather than a fortnightly basis. So obviously we'll keep the open mic night as it is, either after the football or in weeks there isn't the football.
Have you got any plans to introduce food?
I'm thinking about it at the moment. It's not something that I'm going to go rushing into. It won't be gourmet food, it won't be a gastro pub. The pub is what it is, it's a sports pub. It'll be snacks, basket meals. One thing that you will see happening is a lot of barbecues in the summer, especially during the football. The outside area, I think it's a great thing to have, and very enjoyable and tasty.
Rob, thanks very much.
Well, we come to the end of another footballing season, and once again, for the third year in a row, the White Lion has lifted the trophy. This year the team was playing in East Arts Corinthians Sunday League, and on a cold, wet morning in May, they met SLM, the team from Harton, and the venue was at the St Margaret's Football Ground. It was, to say at least, an uninspiring game. It was 1-2-0 in the end, with goals from Jamie Lancaster and Smudger, 2 early goals. SLM tried to fight back, but it was too late, and there was another trophy in the cabinet for us. Bosh. Ricky Smart.
White
Lion News.
Now, Nigel, most people will know you through your fish and chip nights at the White Lion, but you're a professional chef, and I gather you've just changed jobs recently.
I have indeed, yes. I was working in contract catering, but I've now gone back into restaurant work, which is basically my thing. I'm working at the Orange Tree in Silversworth, which is a nice little gastro pub. We hold about 40 covers, and we do fresh local produce on a daily basis. We've got a basic core menu, but our main emphasis is on the specials board. So every day we get fresh fish in, fresh meat, and we just make special dishes to whatever the deliveries of the day are. So yeah, it's going quite well. We've got lots of reviews on TripAdvisor, and we are #1 out of 9 restaurants in Silversworth, so it's all going quite well.
So are you enjoying this change of direction?
I am indeed, yes. I'm getting back to what I do best, which is fresh cooking, cook to order. That's what I enjoy doing. So, the hours are long, it's unsociable hours, but,
I was going to say, I expect it's hard work.
It is, yeah. I do an average. I think I worked out last week. I did an average of about 60 hours. But you know, when you're enjoying what you do, you know, time flies by, and you don't really sort of take notice of the time. You know, I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm happy. So yeah.
And the style of food, is it English?
Yeah, it's basically British cuisine, a little bit of influence from Italy, a little bit from France, but yeah, it's basically it's good honest pub food, but it's not your standard sort of run-of-the-mill pub food. It's good produce. It's all about the food. It's fresh produce, and it's cooked well, and it's not overplayed. It's just good food, you know.
Well, best of luck, Nigel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, at this point in the programme, we were supposed to have had Ralph, our gardening expert, on hand to give some tips on growing your tomatoes in the greenhouse, planting out your tomatoes that are going to be grown outside, and preparing the ground for your runner beans. However, Ralph's not been able to make it today, so instead we've come to my back garden while I'll attempt to tell you what we should be doing. First of all, in the greenhouse, the tomatoes need to be watered regularly and frequently. The soil or the compost in the pots should be kept damp. It's more important as well if you're growing in grow bags to make sure that this watering is carried out daily. Secondly, as the tomatoes grow, they'll produce little side shoots. Now these need to be pinched out, not cut, just pinched out between your finger and thumb. This stops the plant from developing a bushy appearance and concentrates its energies into producing fruits. For the plants that we're going to be growing outside, you need to either dig a small hole in the ground or fill a pot with compost and make an indentation in that and drop the plants in. The ones I've got are getting a bit leggy, as they should have been planted out a couple of weeks ago, so I'll make sure that the holes are deep enough to take them and support them as they grow. Now the indoor plants obviously need to be tied loosely to canes, because the weight of them will soon make them fall over, which would obviously damage the tomatoes. The ones that I'm growing outside this year are cherry tomatoes, and they do form a bush, and there's no need to stake them. Now, my runner beans have been planted in pots. They're in the greenhouse at the moment, but they'll be ready for planting out in a week or so's time. First of all, you need to dig a couple of trenches. Place some compost in the bottom of the trench, and then backfill with the soil that you've removed from the trench. The next stage will be to put up canes, and I'll be doing that in about a week's time. Well, that's all from the Gardening Spot today. See you next time. Well, that's all for this edition of White Lion News. Hope to see you in our next programme.